Hardhat's all about showing up to play hard, doing what it takes to win.
If you want to cement legacy, win another.
He's your third center.
You don't want to pump him up too much, but it's hard not to.
This is maybe the most I've ever agreed with you.
What's up, everyone? This is Noah Dalzell, and I'm here with Bobby Manning after the Celtics' pretty bad loss to the Utah Jazz, 105-103. Second consecutive loss. The Celtics moved to 3-5 on the season. And we want to talk about Derrick White, who has struggled pretty much all year, had another tough showing tonight, 10 points on 3 of 9 shooting. I think everybody's talked about the three-point shooting, and that's been a massive source of difficulty for him and Peyton Pritchard and others on the roster. But it feels like it's starting to impact him a little bit beyond just the misses. Where are you at with Derrick right now?
It's interesting from this one because when you look at the stat line, I think 3 steals, 2 blocks. So I still see him making defensive plays. I still see him playing with effort on that side of the floor, taking on big assignments, all that. So I don't think he's the culprit of the energy falling after all the misses tonight. They shoot 11 for 51, so a ton of them here. But I do feel like offensively he's just completely reliant on that 3 right now. He's second in the league in total attempts. They're not falling for him, obviously. He hasn't been able to get to his floater. He hasn't been able to get to his pick-and-roll attack with some of these bigs. And it's so tough because in the third quarter of opening night, he's running the floor. He's finding guys. He's the one running this offense. And it looked like, oh, here we go. All the all-star conversation we've had, all the all-NBA conversation we have, like, this is what it's about to be. And then it just sunk. And it continues to get worse. I feel like did it go down again from that Houston game tonight in your mind?
I don't know. I mean, I think there's just been so few stretches this season where he's looked like himself. And he is a guy. There's a couple guys in this team, we've talked about it, that get down when they miss shots. And just to be clear with my opening,
do you see him getting down?
I think he gets down, yeah. And it's not even like he's not playing hard after. I think Derrick plays hard. And obviously the steals, the blocks, the transition defense, like that has always been a part of his game. And that has been a part of his game this season as well. But it's not like it's one thing to just miss shots, but then look the same on offense and you're just missing clean looks. I think you've gotten to a point with him where he just doesn't look like the same player offensively, and he's not getting the same looks that he's used to getting, which is crucial. And I think that he is one of the many players on this roster that is sorely missing Jason Tatum and Al Horford and some of the other guys that he's kind of used to playing with. But it's just even the shots that he's making, or even it's like he just doesn't look like he's enjoying himself offensively. Like he just looks like he's pained. I don't know if that's overreading into it, but it seems to me like it's in his head now that the misses have kind of compounded a little bit.
Yeah, and he's probably splitting like wide open shots. When you look at that data, like it feels like almost everything's open and wide open for shooters like him when you look at those numbers. So those don't tell you a ton. He's just missing a lot of shots right now from 3. Now, how can he get into that in-between area? The screening's a big part of it. And I feel like in the past we've seen him get in some great sets with Luke. Those two were electric together. Porzingis obviously was an effective pick-and-pop player for this team. You could run great actions, 2-man games with him. Remember the Tatum White 2-man game? You don't have that anymore. So Jalen's not as willing of a screener. The centers on this team are still trying to figure out the screening. And, give Kata credit. I still think he ranks among the league leaders in screen assists. But is he slipping a lot? Is he setting solid screens? He gets an offensive foul here or there. He's not super consistent in that role. It's not his skill set. Garzer's pretty good at it, but not playing a ton of minutes right now. And then what do you do halfway through this game? You put Boucher out there and do 5 out and just keep launching from 3. So I think they're a little too reliant on the 3 right now. They're not creating enough advantages for guys other than Jalen. And there was one possession in this game where White just had a battle one-on-one for like 10 seconds straight. And I thought that was so emblematic of what he has to do right now.
Yeah, he's not getting anything easy, and that's the problem. I think Pritchard has had a little bit of a release valve. The three-point shot has been even worse for him entering tonight, but he's managed to really get to the basket, get that kind of pull-up mid-range shot that he really likes.
Move for 11.
Yeah, and Derrick hasn't had like a go-to play. He's had some stretches where he's attacking the rim or he's getting a little bit more of a flow there, but overwhelmingly this season, I don't feel like he's found much of a flow offensively at all. And this is a guy who I think, we both projected was going to be an all-star this season and has looked to be exceptional on the offensive end at times with the floater, with the pull-up 3, and, he obviously was the Celtics all-time leader in three-pointers made last season, so it's wild to see just like how much he struggled in contrast to last year. And I still think that the shot's going to come around, but he needs to get some easy looks because he's getting hard
I'm going to ask you, because you're a shooter, what do you do? when it's not falling.
So and that's the thing, and again, like I do want to go back and like look through all of his misses from this season, but it does feel like it's more than just a shooting slump right now. Like I think it's the kinds of shots that he's getting, and
he's not getting to the free throw line, and I talked to
yeah,
his dad.
he's a guy that goes to get to the line quite a bit.
Yeah, and I talked to his dad briefly before this game, and he was like, get to the free throw line, see it go in.
Exactly, yeah.
That changes
Like, I
things.
think that's what he needs right now, is he needs to see the ball go through the basket. Because it's not just about the threes, it's about just finding some sort of offensive rhythm. So it's free throws, it's shooting the technical, like it's getting some
Let him shoot the
layup.
technical.
Let him shoot the technical. No, he shot one technical tonight. Jalen made his technical. Jalen's been shooting really well from the line, I'll add. But yeah, I think it's a little bit of that to start. And you can tell he's been really hard on himself too, which you can hear. This is what he had to say post-game.
Thought I was shitty today, honestly. So I think I'm a big reason why they got back in that game. I mean, it's tough, especially when you feel like you're getting good looks. I think for a lot of us, feel like we're getting good looks, and then you keep missing them. It's frustrating, but it's part of the game. You got to just keep going.
Like that's a guy that typically I think doesn't say much at the podium. He rarely makes headlines, but he clearly felt like some of this was on him tonight.
And you did the story last year about him losing his joy. Like, is this a similar element right now?
That's what it feels like, and maybe that's kind of what's in the back of my mind when I'm saying here that I think it's impacting him, is that we know that he went through a stretch last year where he did lose his joy. He was honest and open about that.
I love that line.
His teammates kind of had to lift him up a little bit, and
who's lifting him up right now? Where are they?
I don't know. I mean, Tatum was on the bench. Tatum's here.
Like, Tatum and him are joking. I feel like he's been in decent spirits, and
yeah,
again,
and I don't think it has to be that deep. Like the season started 2 weeks ago.
But
he's gonna be okay.
I'll say
but
this.
right now he's struggling. Like,
he's a guy we expected to be great. He's a
Yeah.
guy we thought was going to take a leap. We had some extraordinary expectations from him in our bold predictions, and for this to be the result of that is a little disappointing. How much of it is a product of just going from being the fourth or fifth guy who sometimes gets forgotten and overlooked? Like, I think of all the play. You know what always stands out in my mind of watching him at his best is him getting a pass out. Defense had already collapsed. They're running out to him. He pump fakes, gets downhill, gets fouled, gets another kick out. Like, he's kind of the guy who would slip through the cracks in the past. Will Hardy said it before this game. He's not someone you overlook anymore. He's probably, you can see the little scouting
He's probably
reports in the
number
locker
2
room.
on the scouting report.
Yeah. Like,
After
you're
Jalen,
keying in
that's
on
the
him.
number one guy that you're concerned about. And
Yeah.
so that's just not been the situation over the past few years. And so that's making life more difficult. The screening, as you mentioned, is making life more difficult. The fact that he's having to create his own shot a lot more, and that he's not, he used to have like the second worst defender on the floor sometimes guarding him. That's not really the case anymore very much. And so, and it doesn't help that they're both struggling from the outside. So it's like neither of them, Peyton and Derrick, neither of them are really opening up things for the other. And for all the talk about Anthony Simons, he hasn't been super efficient offensively as well. I mean, really the only high volume player on this team that's been able to score is Jalen Brown.
Yep.
And he's also, like, objectively speaking, that really shouldn't be a surprise. He's a very proven player relative to these other guys as far as having to create his own shots against elite defenders in high pressure moments and all of that.
So let me say 2 things, maybe 3 if I can think of the third. They did call a nice set play call for him in this game, and we can go back and watch it later, but slipped into the paint area, was able to get out to the corner. It was a really nice set play Joe called, I think, out of a timeout that got him a wide open corner 3, and I was like, here we go, but he missed it.
Yeah.
And it was just such a great look, and Joe did say before this game, it's on us. We got to call some stuff. We got to get out of timeouts, whatever it might be, to just get these guys involved and going. He put that on himself a little bit before this game. The other thing I'll say is that they haven't turned the ball over. The assist-to-turnover ratio for White and Pritchard has been extraordinary. And as rough as the start has been to the season at times, and tonight was obviously the low point, the way they're dominating the turnover battle, and did again tonight, it was almost the reason they came back and won.
Yeah.
That might be, out of all the bad things that have happened and all the good things, like the thing at the top, like what's most important from the start of the season, I think is the way they've dominated the turnover battle. I didn't know if they'd be able to protect the ball with the new look team and have pressure on some of these ball handlers. They've done it, and they've forced turnovers. So that is the silver lining for me, from White, again, 3 steals, 2 blocks in this one, right?
Yeah, and again, I don't think he's played bad.
Yep.
I'm simply talking about whether, how he has been offensively as far as creating his own scoring, because his scoring is like, it's a non-negotiable for this team. There were points last year where you could afford Derrick to have 8 points in a night or 7 points.
You can't now.
You just can't. Like, we needed him to be a 20-point per game night for this team to have a chance to be.
This was the no room for error
Yeah.
game. It showed you have no room for error.
Right, and I think so both him and Payton need to be like elite scorers. And the reason that I was high on this team is because I projected that both of these guys were going to be elite scorers. So far, that hasn't really been the case.
And this is tangentially related to White, but the last question I got for you is the split between the Brown and the minutes on and off in this game. It's kind of been the story all year.
But this was a wild. Jaylen Brown's on-off stats have not been crazy so far this season. Tonight, plus 21 in his 38 minutes, and they lose this game. And so that goes to show you. I got to rewatch the 10 minutes that he was off the court because they were outscored by 22.
That's where White and Pritchard have to shine.
And so that's a part of it. So it's going to take a lot. This is definitely the lowest point, I would say, of the season. Blowing this game. Bad vibes post-game. This was definitely the hardest. The team has taken a loss. Payton, Jalen, Derrick, everybody was down. Locker room silent. Like, so far this season, they've stayed pretty upbeat. And maybe they'll be totally upbeat on Wednesday, and it's just like an immediate reaction to a tough loss. But it does feel that way right now. And the number one person that I'm thinking about as far as, like, this is who's struggling, this is who's going to have to turn it around is Derrick White at this point.
And the 2 downsides from tonight. One, you're not able to separate yourself from what's probably one of the worst rosters in the league. And 2, that this is a fully healthy Celtics roster right now. Like, there's going to be nights where you're missing guys. There's going to be nights where you're in a tough scheduling spot. You want to see something better out of this stretch of the season, these kind of games. And Wednesday against the Wizards is another example. Like, do you blow them out? Are you miles ahead of the Wizards? Or are you going to be scrapping by in the crunch time again against that team?
We'll see. That's it for us for now. We'll be back here on Wednesday for Celtics versus the Wizards before hitting the road for a 3-game road trip, 2 games against Orlando, 1 against Philadelphia. Thank you as always for watching. We'll have more coverage. You can watch the players talk for themselves. Payton Pritchard, Jaylen Brown, Derrick White, Joe Mazzulla all spoke after this game.
We should shout out as well, too, the hurricane fund that we're doing right now.
Yeah, we're doing a fundraiser for hurricane relief. My roommate is from Jamaica, and her family friends have totally lost everything during this devastating storm. So you can find more information about it. Where's the best place to find information about that? We'll leave a link in the chat, a link in the description with the GoFundMe link. Thank you all.